Hey, what's up everybody? Hope you're having a good day. We have a really special freebie for you today. It is 120 free Gaia 3D terrain files. Now these are completely procedural files, so you can change and modify everything, but we have set them all up and there are 120 of them that you can play with. Now, if you don't know what Gaia is, it is a piece of software that is incredible at building landscapes and landscape textures. They have a free version, and then they also have a very cheap version, which is only $99, and that's a pay once and then you own the product, which is really awesome. These were created by my friend Roland, and Roland is the creator of our ultimate procedural material pack for Redshift, and this is one of our top bestsellers. It's an absolutely incredible texture pack. It has so many different textures in here. I think we're over 1,000. So I'll put a link below to that if you want to check that out. All right, so let's see what comes with this pack. First of all, you have a folder full of all the thumbnails. That way you can pick one out and you can just kind of peruse through these and pick one that you like. And let's go with this one. So complex 01B, and we can go to our files here and we'll just find complex 01B and we'll open that up. And that's gonna open Gaia. All right, so this is what you're gonna get. You can see already we have everything completely set up for you, and down here you can see all the nodes that we used, and it's definitely pretty complicated. We've used quite a few nodes to make these really nice and realistic. If we go to the output here, you can see that there's this little green target here. That means that if we click on the other nodes, we're not going to see them. We're only seeing the output. So if we right click on here and we unlock the preview, you can also use F for that. It'll undo that. And then whatever we click on, it will preview that. So we can preview all the different nodes here. So you can see that we've kind of built up all these different pieces, and this is completely procedural. So let's say that we wanted to play around with this crater. That's this crater right here. We can maybe increase the scale of that if we want a bigger crater. So everything's completely procedural, which is super awesome. All right, so I'm not gonna go over all the details of how to use Gaia. There's a lot of great tutorials on YouTube, but suffice it to say that we have kind of set everything up. You can tweak it if you want to, but if you wanna output these, I'm gonna show you how to do that really quick. So there's two ways to output this. One is you can output depth maps and you can output the textures. And another thing you can do is output the actual mesh. So you can save this out as an OBJ. And I like to do the OBJ and then the texture as well. So I'm going to show you how to do that really quick. So this one and this one are the two textures. So we're going to set these up to export as a texture. We're going to do that by right clicking, going to mark for export. And if you look at this little tab called build down here, you can see that we now have this saturation map here. We're also going to do it with this texture in case we want it. We'll click mark for export. You can also use F3. And let's go and change these from EXRs to maybe PNGs. All right, so moving back from these textures, we're gonna go back until we find the first sort of mesh feature here, and we're gonna wanna export this right here. So we're gonna right click and then we're gonna type in mesh, and we're gonna want this red one, the mesher. So we'll click on that, and then we'll output this one into the mesher here. And you'll notice on the right bar here under mesher, we can change the format. So we're just gonna do an OBJ. And on topology, we'll go to quads. And then one thing you really need to make sure that you do is create UVs. So check that on, make sure that we have UVs. And then finally, we're gonna right click and we're gonna go mark for export as well. So it exports that OBJ. Now, here's something that might hang you up. In the export build, you can see that we have that mesher, but it says EXR on it, even though we set it up for OBJ. Just don't worry about that EXR setting here. Just ignore it. It's gonna output the OBJ just fine. All right, so we have our three different things set up to export. Now let's go to project and let's go to build settings. Now, if you pay for this, you can go all the way up to 256K resolution, which is outrageous. But I just had the free one right now, so we can go only up to 1K, but we'll switch to 1K. That'll be fine for this tutorial. And now all you have to do is click execute build, and it's going to compile all those shaders into the texture maps, and it's gonna output that OBJ file for you. And I forgot to mention that if we go to build settings and we go to build, it's going to show you the build destination right here. So we will want to actually replace this and go to our folder here. So I'll save it onto my desktop and we'll hit close, and I'm going to re-export that. So we'll go to build settings and then I'll execute the build here, start build. All right, so that's gonna put it on my desktop just so I know exactly where it is. All right, so now that everything is exported, you can see that we have our saturation map, we have our texture base, and then we also have the OBJ. And we're gonna go ahead and import this OBJ into Cinema 4D. We'll just hit OK. You can see that we have our nice crater mountain here. And from here, since we set up UVs, it's really easy. If you go into Gaia a little bit deeper, you can export a bunch of different types of maps. So I've only showed you how to export just the color map, but you can export a bunch of different maps as well. So just watch some tutorials on Gaia and you should be able to figure that out. But I will just take that color channel, put it into the material color. You can see that we have this all set up. So I'll just throw a sun and sky rig in here and we'll fire up a render and just see what it looks like. And just like that, we have our mountain and everything looks pretty awesome. Now, if you had a version that was like 4K, 8K, 16K, this would look absolutely incredible. So maybe you should spring for the $99 version. But either way, we've got you hooked up with 120 presets for Gaia. I really hope you enjoy it. And thanks for checking out the Pixel Lab. We'll talk to you next time. Ciao.